Guess I better unmute if we're going to get this show on the road. Jesus got his little pillow.
Jesús dice que alistemos la...
Guess I better unmute if we're going to get this show on the road. Oh, we got an echo. It must be really good.
Tenemos un eco, pero debe ser que es muy bueno.
Okay. YouTube likes to play in the background.
Parece que había otra.
Excuse me, but Silencio's going to interrupt the whole thing. Come on, up here, up.
Discúlpeme, pero Silencio va a interrumpir esto.
Don't let me get in your way. He's right. He's right here. Okay. Okay, go for God.
Vamos por Dios.
Okay. What a great topic.
Qué gran tema hoy.
When Jesus says, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know.
Cuando Jesús dice, te voy a decir todo lo que necesitas saber.
He's not kidding.
Él no está bromeando.
But if we're not listening to the voice,
pero si no escuchamos la voz,
okay, we won't hear him when he's telling us things.
Pero entonces no lo vamos a escuchar cuando él nos está diciendo cosas.
So learning to hear his voice has two parts.
Entonces aprender a escuchar su voz tiene dos partes.
You practice listening to it.
Practicas el escucharlo.
And then you speak what he tells you.
Y luego hablas lo que él te dice que diga.
Okay, and that he's teaching you through what he tells you to say. You really can get it.
Entonces él te está enseñando a través de lo que tú estás diciendo para que lo logres, para que lo asimiles.
When Jesus teaches you something, it's not for anybody else. It's always for you.
Cuando Jesús te enseña algo, no es para nadie más, siempre es para ti.
When you speak his voice, it's for you. It's you celebrating all that you are when you speak what he tells you.
Cuando compartes o hablas lo que él te dice, es la celebración de todo lo que tú eres.
See, that's what the ego doesn't want to see, that voice for totality is your voice.
Eso es lo que el ego no quiere que veas, que esta voz de la totalidad es tu voz.
So we remember in a course, he says, okay, there's two voices.
Recordemos que en el curso dice que hay dos voces.
There's the voice of the wrong-mindedness, the ego.
Entonces tenemos la voz de la mente errada, del ego.
I'm going to put it on this side because Jesus is over here.
Lo voy a poner del otro lado porque Jesús está aquí.
Okay, all right. Jesus, okay, is the symbol in the mind for the voice for wholeness within, the light within.
Jesús es el símbolo de la plenitud, de la completitud, que es la voz interior.
So the ego is always talking fragmentation. It's living inside dreaming all the time. It dreams and talks about dreams and talks about beliefs and like this.
Y entonces el ego está siempre hablando de sueños como así, de esta manera.
Okay, it's the voice of delusion.
Es la voz del engaño, de la ilusión.
So when you start speaking that voice that you're hearing, it's so important because it cuts the ego off. You're not indulging in the play of smallness.
Entonces, cuando hablas esa voz de la plenitud, no estás siendo indulgente y no estás hablando la voz de la pequeñez.
You can't speak the truth because words aren't true, but you speak as the truth. You speak as all that you are because you're speaking wholeness.
Entonces no estás hablando, no son las palabras, porque simplemente es desde donde las hablas. La hablas desde la plenitud, desde la completitud. Hablas desde ahí.
It is your function to speak the voice for God. It's just your function.
Y es tu función hablar la voz de Dios. Es simplemente tu función.
So then we're not indulging in the serpent tongue.
Entonces así no estamos siendo indulgentes con la voz de la serpiente.
There's nothing the serpent loves better than a little story about hanging out in a tree and telling Eve what to do.
Y entonces porque esta voz te va a tratar de mostrar en el cuento de Adán y Eva y todo esto.
Okay, in the garden, the devil made me do it.
Y el jardín, y el diablo me hizo hacer esto.
So here's how that works, okay?
Así es como funciona.
This devil says, eat the apple, you're going to be brilliant if you eat the apple,
Entonces el diablo va a decir, cómete la manzana y vas a ser brillante.
But whose hand reached over there and grabbed that apple and took a bite? Whose hand was that?
¿Y de quién fue la mano entonces de que subió, se elevó y cogió la manzana?
So
¿De quién fue?
what? So what? Eve meanders over to Adam and goes, looky, have some of this.
¿Y entonces qué? Mira aquí la manzana.
Okay, now whose hand reached over from Adam and took a bite?
Y entonces, ¿quién fue la mano que subió y agarró la manzana y le dio un mordisco?
Every time you're not speaking the voice for God, you're taking a bite of the apple of delusion.
Y cada vez que no hablas la voz de la plenitud, estás hablando la voz del engaño.
See, it's denial of the will of the Father.
Es la negación de la voluntad del Padre.
Oh my gosh, look, there's all this, the world fights over free will. I'm going to have free will. Let me have will. God gives me free will.
Entonces peleamos con relación al tema del libre albedrío. Dios me dio libre albedrío.
But when you really grok at the deepest level what God's will actually is.
Pero cuando realmente lo asimilas, en verdad, ¿qué significa la voluntad de Dios?
God's will is not something happening.
La voluntad de Dios no es algo que esté pasando.
God's will is be done is you are happiness. Period.
Y la voluntad de Dios es tú eres felicidad y punto.
Okay, but if we're living in the dream with the things that we say, we're just living in that little dream world. Here's a little story of a little me that got abandoned. If we're in that story of dreaming.
Pero si estamos en esta historia de mira lo que me pasó a mí, en esta historia del soñar.
Okay, it's the story of the little me.
Es la historia del pequeño yo.
No, Jesus goes, I and the Father are one.
Y Jesús dice, no, yo y el Padre somos uno.
So when you speak only what that voice tells you, you are celebrating that you and the Father, you are as God made you.
Cuando hablas esa voz, estás celebrando lo que Dios hizo.
So you can ask Jesus now, Jesus.
Y entonces puedes preguntarle ahora mismo a Jesús.
Give it to me straight. Give it to me straight.
Dámelo directo, Jesús, dámelo directo.
Okay. Is it essential to your plan for the atonement that I speak only what you tell me? Yes or no?
Jesús, ¿es esencial para la expiación que yo hable únicamente lo que tú me dices que hable? ¿Que diga?
Okay. So here comes, is it? What do you hear?
¿Qué escuchan?
Who's getting to heaven without speaking that voice 100%?
¿Quién puede llegar al cielo sin hablar esa voz 100%?
Okay. All right. This is the voice of suffering, pain, and hell. Do we want to be speaking that?
Queremos, esta voz es la voz del infierno. ¿Queremos hablar esta voz?
Okay. And then the more that at first I could see, I didn't realize how important. I mean, it's essential. It's not.
No me daba cuenta lo importante, lo esencial que es esto.
Because the entire play of consciousness is to make our own voice that God gave us to not be anything, like anything of value.
Y darle, porque esta voz que nos ha dado Dios la hemos querido convertir en algo que no es valioso.
But then you'll see, because in order to speak what Jesus tells you, you've got to listen to what he's saying.
Pero entonces en el orden de poder hablar lo que él te dice, tienes que escucharlo.
And after your mind is purified from releasing the desires, when you actually go to listen to Jesus, it is a reminder of everything given you by the Father. It's like infinite.
Y entonces cuando liberas todos estos deseos y escuchas plenamente la voz de Jesús, es la celebración del infinito, de lo que es.
So, and when you see that, you just, you're not going to want to say anything that's not that Jesus tells you, because it's like poking your eye out with a stick.
Porque entonces no vas a querer hablar nada de lo que no te diga Jesús, porque eso es como chuzarte el ojo con un palo.
Because remember what Jesus said.
Porque recordemos lo que Jesús dice.
He's in A Course in Miracles, he's trying to take this like a child running with a pair of scissors. And you're going, no, I want this.
Porque es como Jesús dice en el curso de milagros, andamos corriendo con unas tijeras y diciendo, yo las quiero, yo las quiero.
It's like, when you see a 2-year-old and they're all the way across the room and they have a little bobby pin, you know where they're going with that bobby pin. Okay? It's a little piece of metal. It's for your hair,
Entonces,
a little piece of clip for your hair. Well,
corriendo con estas pincitas del cabello, estás corriendo, ya sabes qué va a pasar.
and a baby gets hold of it. Where is he going to go? He's going to go stick that in the electrical socket. That's what we're doing.
y simplemente ya sabemos que va a poner eso en una de electricidad, en un enchufe de electricidad.
So we can have an experience of there's the cause and there's the effect.
Y entonces podemos tener así la causa y el efecto.
The last thing the ego wants to see is it decided to have the experience of the zzz.
Porque el ego lo que más quiere es el deseo de esa experiencia del
That every experience is a desired experience.
Que cada experiencia es una experiencia deseada.
And then we argue with Jesus and make exceptions. That's what the ego is going to do. It's going to try to make an exception.
Entonces nos gusta pelear con Jesús y hacer pequeñas excepciones, porque al ego le encanta hacer excepciones.
It's going to try. It's going to try to distract you or have you edit what the voice for God is telling you and say something else or go sideways.
Y entonces vas a querer editar lo que esta voz te dice, irte por los laterales.
So now, by referring back to him all day long,
y entonces para volver a él durante todo el día,
the voice for God speaks to me throughout the day.
La voz de Dios me habla durante todo el día.
Okay. And by referring back, see, the ego doesn't want to do that because it wants to keep its little hell world open.
Y el ego no va a querer eso porque él va a querer mantener su pequeño infierno.
Because as you noticed, if you've been looking at those desires and Jesus takes you down into the subconscious mind.
Porque él sabe que estamos mirando estos deseos y que Jesús te está llevando profundo en la mente subconsciente.
And you find the golem that's relishing that loves being electrocuted.
Y vemos entonces como al golem le encanta sentir esta electricidad.
Okay, meanwhile, you're just complaining. So the ego generates experience and then it forgets that it did it, and has God screwing it over.
Entonces el ego genera esta experiencia, la tienes esta experiencia y después dices, Dios me está jodiendo.
No, because that's the play in consciousness, to forget that there was a decision in the mind to have an experience other than the will of the Father, which is happiness.
Entonces vemos como esta es una experiencia deseada de hacer algo diferente a la voluntad del Padre, que es felicidad.
So, and if you may discover it now, when you start talking to Jesus, you get comfort.
Entonces, cuando comienzas a descubrir esto, cuando comienzas a escuchar la voz de Jesús y tienes de él consuelo.
Now, the reason it gets funnier and funnier, it's not so
y la razón por la cual se vuelve esto más divertido y más divertido,
is because you see that you chose that experience. You chose to stick stick something in an electrical socket all of your life.
Entonces, porque te das cuenta que tú mismo estás eligiendo poner esto en la electricidad,
That is
electrocutarte.
funny, Kay. That's funny. I
Eso es
like that
divertido.
comment, Kay.
Eso es muy divertido.
How much we like sticking our finger in the electrical socket? Yes.
Sí, cómo nos encanta meter el dedo en el enchufe de electricidad, sí, nos encanta.
Let them show us. It's hilarious when you see it. It's not so funny at first because we're so used to projecting that God or somebody did it to us.
En un principio no es tan divertido porque siempre queremos decir que alguien más me lo hizo o echarle la culpa a Dios.
But see, if you're looking with Jesus, okay?
Pero si tú estás mirando con Jesús,
and he takes you down there and you see when you have a twitch or unhappiness,
y Él te lleva debajo en la mente subconsciente y te muestra que cuando tengas una sensación de molestia o de infelicidad,
okay, and so our role is the willingness, okay, give it to me, Jesus.
entonces nuestro rol es decirle, Jesús, dámelo.
Okay, completely open, don't know anything about it.
Totalmente abierto, sin saber absolutamente nada.
Meanwhile, this little voice is telling her, this little voice is telling you, I'm going to get Jesus to help me. This little voice is telling you, you know, not a problem.
Esta pequeña voz está diciendo, no, no hay ningún problema.
Okay. It's going to hide how much the ego loves that playing consciousness for self-torture.
Y él no va a querer que veas cuánto el ego ama la autotortura.
And where it's confusion in the mind, where you think heaven and hell are flipped.
Y ver la confusión en la mente donde el cielo y el infierno están invertidos.
So you go down in the subconscious mind in the light circle.
Entonces tú vas a la mente subconsciente en los círculos de luz.
Jesus, do I have this desire for, let's say, an experience of control?
Digamos, vamos y preguntamos, Jesús, ¿tengo el deseo de una experiencia de control?
Or do I have the desire for pain? You can ask them that. Everybody can relate to pain.
Y pueden preguntarle, Jesús, ¿tengo el deseo del dolor?
Okay. And then you have to stand back. That's your job is done. Is that desire there? Tell me the desire to look at. Your job's over.
Y entonces inmediatamente pides cuál es el deseo que está ahí y ahí termina tu trabajo.
You have to be willing.
Simplemente tienes que tener la voluntad.
Okay, and then you hit pay dirt when you suddenly realize, for me, it was like, oh my gosh, I want pain more than God.
Y para mí fue muy profundo cuando vi que yo amaba el dolor más que a Dios.
I want to suffer. I want to suffer. I want to be in great pain.
Yeah, sound effects too. Okay. But this is because at first I'm going, Jesus, like, I really don't think I couldn't possibly want pain.
No, pero en un principio decía, no puede ser que yo quiera el dolor.
But when you see that relishing, how much it's the beloved, like it's the treasure down there.
Pero cuando tú ves cuánto es tu tesoro, cuánto lo atesoras ahí debajo.
Okay. And then you can really look and go, then like for me, I knew, gosh, I need his help because I'm really liking this a lot. More than I realized. Okay.
Y me di cuenta que lo quería muchísimo. Ahí me di cuenta que necesitaba su ayuda porque lo amaba mucho.
The reason why you don't get an immediate miracle is because there's still a relishing, there's still an idea that pain or hell is heaven.
Pero entonces, si hay ese gusto, hay alguna parte donde tú crees que este dolor es el cielo.
Okay, so now as you open to being coached every step by step through the entire Course in Miracles, you ask Jesus whether he's going to coach you all the way.
Entonces, si tú estás dispuesto a ser entrenado paso a paso por todo el curso de milagros,
but then you have to learn that the way he teaches you is when he teaches you something that's deep and profound, the ego is going to come in like a lightning bolt and try to cover it over.
pero entonces cuando él te está enseñando todo esto, el ego va a querer aparecer y no le va a gustar esto.
So when you speak what he teaches you, you'll grok it. You hear his words, and whatever he's teaching you, you share, you're extending it out when you're in guidance. When he says share it, it's for you.
Y entonces, pero cuando recibes su voz y la compartes, estás compartiendo, porque todo esto es para ti.
That's why we have an entire Facebook group just for that, just to focus on that, not quoting quotes from the course. It's living the course.
Y por eso tenemos toda una página en Facebook donde no hablamos de compartir el curso en sí, sino las experiencias.
It's for living, for saying, I'm learning this from Jesus.
Es para decir, para vivirlo. Yo estoy aprendiendo esto de Jesús.
You're bearing testament to yourself that voice is yours. It's here to help you, and you're determined to seize.
Es ver que eres un testigo de esa voz y de donde te muestra que estás determinado a ver.
So you can ask him, Jesus, is it guidance for me?
Entonces Jesús, ¿está en guía para mí?
Is it guidance for me to share my experiences being coached by you to miracles and where I have been wrong?
Y entonces está en guía para mí compartir las experiencias donde yo he estado equivocado y donde he aceptado los milagros.
Okay, I know many of you, Jesus is funny. See, when there's a point to it, he knows your funny bone better than you do.
Y él sabe, Jesús es muy divertido y él sabe dónde, ¿say again, Kate?
He knows your funny bone, where you're going to laugh more than you do. He knows it.
Él sabe dónde te puedes divertir más de lo que tú imaginas.
So just think, you get to say some of the funniest things he says.
Y una de las cosas divertidas que él dice,
You know?
tú puedes decirlas.
But really, the reason why, for me, I started laughing because every time he would tell me something to say, I started saying, oh my gosh, he's right again. It would make me laugh because I knew he's right.
Y entonces cuando él me decía a mí cosas que tenía que decir, eso me hacía reír porque yo me daba cuenta de que él estaba en lo correcto.
You know, I knew, oh my gosh, he's right again. And then you just start laughing. I'd start laughing.
Y entonces decía, él está en lo correcto nuevamente y comienzas a reírte.
So you have to see it. It's the atonement is designed by him is a package deal. It's a curriculum.
Entonces el paquete de la expiación es un paquete completo, es todo un currículum.
I will tell you everything you need to know.
Yo te diré exactamente todo lo que necesitas saber.
I will tell you where to go.
Te voy a decir a dónde debes ir.
Who to see.
A quién ver.
What to say.
Qué decir.
That's saying, he didn't skip the saying part.
Y no evites algunas partes de lo que tienes que decir.
And it's helpful to start noticing in your mind where you may be making exceptions. Oh, you know, and editing what he tells you.
Y entonces comienzas a darte cuenta en tu mente dónde estás haciendo excepciones y dónde quieres editar lo que él dice.
Like he gives the miracle worksheet. Oh, I'll just, edit this.
Como cuando él me dio la hoja de trabajo, venga, edito esta parte.
Well, just remember doing A Course in Miracles, those simple lessons. Okay, 3 times a day for 2 minutes or 1 minute, do this.
Y lo vemos con las lecciones del curso de milagros. Dice, haz esto 3 veces al día por 2 minutos o por 1 minuto.
See, and then I can see now how my mind would just go make exceptions or 3 days later, I forgot the lesson.
Y entonces veía cómo en mi mente hacía excepciones y después de 3 días ya ni me acordaba de la lección.
The greatest value from the 365 days is to learn to do what he tells you to do exactly.
Y lo grandioso de estas 365 lecciones es que aprendes a hacerlo exactamente lo que él te dice que hagas.
If you grok the course, if you get it in full, if your desire is for that.
Y si lo asimilas completamente, si ese es tu deseo de asimilarlo completamente,
you will make zero exceptions on hearing the voice.
Vas a hacer 0 excepciones en escuchar la voz.
You will make 0 exceptions on saying exactly what he tells you to say.
Vas a hacer 0 excepciones en decir lo que él te diga que debes decir.
You will make 0 exceptions to following every place he tells you to go.
Vas a hacer 0 excepciones donde él te diga que vayas.
And then he can really help you.
Y entonces él va a poderte ayudar.
So what Jesus and the Holy Spirit are going to tell you, Bruce commented on the Holy Spirit, are going to be the same thing. The Holy Spirit is not going to tell you something different from Jesus. Just not going to happen.
Entonces, si viene algo de Jesús o el Espíritu Santo que son lo mismo, porque él no te va a decir algo diferente a Jesús.
Jesus knows and God, that some beings are going to be more comfortable with something like a spirit that's not affiliated with a body.
Entonces él sabe que hay personas que están más afiliadas o más se sienten más confortables con un espíritu que no está afiliado a un cuerpo.
So a lot of course students get in this argument, whether it's talking to Jesus or the Holy Spirit or.
Y algunas personas tienen argumentos con relación a si están hablando con el Espíritu Santo o con Jesús.
Okay, this need not be.
Eso no tiene por qué ser así.
For me, for some reason, I don't know, it was just Jesus. So you just go with whatever he tells you is most helpful for healing your mind.
Y por lo que sea, Jesús te va a decir exactamente qué es lo más útil para la sanación de la mente.
And if he says, ask me, then I ask Jesus. He's saying, ask me, talk to me.
Y si él me dice, pregúntame, yo le pregunto a Jesús y dice, háblame.
The greatest challenge with the Jesus is the concept of what this guy was and who he is. And you have to transcend all of that.
Y el reto con Jesús es el tema que quién fue él y todo eso tenemos que trascenderlo.
By forgiving all the concepts you have about a man that lived on the earth.
Dejando de lado los conceptos que tenemos de un hombre que vivió en la tierra.
Look, when your mind's purified, Jesus will tell you everything about when the time's appropriate and your mind's clear, you can talk to him about everything in the Bible. He'll give you your own coaching sessions.
Entonces, cuando esté tu mente purificada, él te va a poder decir absolutamente todo, te va a hablar de la Biblia y te va a entrenar directamente.
The only purpose for these texts in A Course in Miracles,
el único propósito del texto en el Curso de Milagros,
is for you to get to the point where you're one-on-one with him. Then he can carry you through. That's why he says you don't need the course.
Y es donde llegas al momento donde no necesitas el curso.
See, if in the play of consciousness, he says that there's so many course students, they can quote the book, but they don't get the book.
Y él dice que muchos estudiantes del curso pueden citar el curso, pero no lo han asimilado como tal.
With the biggest thing that's being missed here is you don't talk about the course in group, you don't teach course groups, you don't write a quote, you don't do anything unless this one tells you it's what's most helpful for healing your mind.
Entonces no vas a hablar en los grupos de de un curso de milagros. No vas a entrenar, no vas a hacer absolutamente nada hasta que Él te lo diga lo que tienes que hacer y decir.
The ego can co-opt the course. Jesus says it in there. You know, it can co-opt the course.
Porque el ego puede coaptar el curso.
Okay, it can, and it takes the concepts and it will do concept babbling. You know, it'll babble out a concept, but it's coming out of this voice.
Pero entonces vamos a estar peleando acerca de conceptos, pero eso viene de esta voz.
The devil can quote the course.
El diablo puede citar el curso.
That little forked tongue thing, okay?
Esas pequeñas voz de la serpiente.
When you speak what he tells you to say, the course, you will see that it's alive within you. It's so ridiculously brilliant, and you'll know it because you're walking, you're a bright light with 2 feet.
Entonces, cuando citas el curso desde esta voz, es absolutamente brillante porque son 2 pies caminando esta luz.
You know, it's just this unending fountain of joy. You're a fountain of joy. That's all God makes, done, period. His job was done.
Tú eres una fuente de felicidad porque eso fue lo que hizo Dios y punto.
But without seeing like all the places in the mind, this little tongue, we talk it, we have conversations with it, we have.
Pero cuando vemos que esta voz del serpiente habla, tenemos estas pequeñas conversaciones.
We were looking at Desire this week, like how we were talking about how I could see it too. I could see these, I'd play thought sword fight. Let's play the game of thought sword fight and get in there and try to get this group and this group of words, you know, that would be the right set, you know, and if I could just change the past and if I would have said this, you know, it's a fight.
Entonces hemos estado hablando esta semana de estos deseos de cómo los pensamientos pelean entre sí, esta pequeña pelea.
One of the happiest benefits, it took me a while to learn this one. One of the happiest benefits of talking to Jesus, I could go, Jesus, do I need that thought? Is that helpful to be thinking about that right now?
Y lo feliz de esto es que le podemos preguntar, Jesús, ¿es útil que yo esté pensando estos pensamientos ahora mismo?
It's like, so, but it took me a while because I could see, you know, this like an itch to get back in there in that little thought thing, you know, but after a while, I learned to drop those things. Like if he went like this, I drop it like a hot potato.
Pero entonces esta adicción como estos pensamientos, pero si él te dice que los sueltas como una papa caliente.
Okay, Jesus, what else do you want to say about why we should speak your voice?
Bueno, Jesús, ¿qué más quieres decir acerca de hablar tu voz?
He just said, because I am in charge of the atonement.
Sí, porque yo estoy a cargo de la expiación.
Yeah. I mean, the course is so brilliant. It's just ridiculously brilliant.
Y porque el curso es ridículamente brillante.
Okay, it's going to pull you when you speak this. That's why the ego fights this.
Y eso es lo que el ego pelea, lo que no quiere.
I mean, somebody's been in a course for a long time and wrote an article about, okay, here's what Jesus told me to say, this kind of stuff.
Y entonces hay una persona que ha estado mucho tiempo en el curso y escribió algo. Esto fue lo que Jesús me dijo que dijera.
Okay. And he said, like, I don't know if we can publish that like that. I'm not sure course students are really comfortable hearing, you know, people saying what Jesus is telling them.
Y entonces esta persona me dijo, porque yo fui la que escribió este artículo, entonces me dice esta persona, no sé si la gente se sienta confortable de escuchar lo que Jesús te dijo.
And look, I'm going to be the first to admit that I would have thought those people talking what Jesus is telling them were a bunch of nutcases. So look, I admit it.
Sorry, ¿qué? ¿Se le again?
I'm going to admit that I would have been one of the first ones to say those people talking like they're hearing Jesus, those are a bunch of nut people, okay?
Sí, yo sería una de las que diría también eso, de alguna manera, que esta gente está hablando con Jesús.
But what he taught me is I can be the happiest nut ever.
Pero
I'm
puedo
the
darme
happiest nut ever.
cuenta que puedo ser la persona más feliz sin saber nada.
You know, because it went from, oh my God, I can't tell anybody I hear that voice.
Porque yo iba así como, uy, no le puedo decir a nadie que estoy escuchando esta voz.
Look, he's making it clear. This is not channeling.
Y él lo está haciendo muy claro, no
Okay.
es que estemos canalizando.
Channeling is a concept that there's somebody out there, there's something outside of you giving you information. No.
Entonces, porque la canalización es el concepto de que hay alguien allá que te está dando información a ti.
Now,
No, eso no es.
At first, it seems like Jesus is outside you because we don't want to face the fact that there's only one.
Entonces, en un principio parece que hay un Jesús allá afuera porque no queremos darle la cara al hecho de que somos uno.
Oh, I'm asking.
Y le estoy preguntando.
I want to ask him about this.
Y le estoy preguntando acerca de esto.
Whoa. Okay, so here's what he said.
Mira lo que él dice.
He says you will never have the level of precision with channeling that you will have from talking to me directly.
Él dice, nunca vas a tener el nivel de precisión canalizando que hablando directamente conmigo.
This is equal opportunity for everyone. No one's limited. Everyone has the ability to hear that voice and speak to it.
Y esta es una oportunidad igual para todos, esta oportunidad de escucharlo.
So the only way, and I'll say this is all right, I'm going to say it to every course teacher.
Y
This is from,
esto es para cada profesor de un curso de milagros.
if you want the atonement,
si tú quieres la expiación,
okay, you will hear the voice and you will speak the voice because that is wholeness.
Vas a escuchar la voz y la vas a hablar porque eso es la plenitud.
Because that is so that you discover that's your voice for wholeness, celebrating all that you are. That's the discomfort.
Y esa es la celebración de todo de lo que tú eres, celebrando lo que eres, y de ahí viene el no sentirse confortable algunas veces.
But we have to turn in and face all the concepts about what a Jesus is.
Pero entonces tenemos que mirar esto y preguntarle y sanar esto de los conceptos que tenemos acerca de Jesús.
And get past the concepts that, you know, only Helen could really hear him.
Y pasar por estos conceptos de que únicamente Helen lo podía escuchar.
So you can hear him.
Sí, tú puedes escucharlo.
And if you and those that are in the 90-day, you know, they're seeing the stuff. Just they ask Jesus a question and just this stuff pours out.
Y lo vemos con las personas que están en el programa 90 días, que lo escuchan y son cosas que se salen de lo común.
So I'm asking Jesus about Helen.
Y entonces le estoy preguntando a Jesús acerca de Helen.
What's more unusual,
lo que es más inusual,
is that she could see, most of us have a lot of hidden desires to block that parts of that voice speaking.
Entonces, muchos de nosotros tenemos estos deseos que bloquean el hablar de Jesús.
Okay, so the hearing is selective. There are parts of the mind that are protected from him.
Entonces, el escucharlo es selectivo. Hay partes de la mente que están protegidas.
So, I'm talking about. So she could really get the words. She could get the words and she would put them down. They were, oh my God, they're so beautifully on point what she wrote. I'm talking about. Okay.
Y es maravilloso como ella podía escuchar esa voz y la podía escribir.
But we can write something down and never grok it fully.
pero podemos escribirlo, pero bueno, no necesariamente quiere decir que lo hayamos asimilado completamente.
So the only way you're going to get to 100% course is
La única forma que vas a lograr entender 100% el curso,
where it lives within you.
que viva en ti,
Listen, follow, speak.
es escuchándolo, hablándolo y siguiéndolo.
Listen to my voice. Say
Escucha
what
mi voz, di lo que yo te digo que digas,
go where I tell you.
ve a donde yo te diga que vayas.
And that's how he helps get to the places in your mind where the denials are, where all those hidden desires to deny the kingdom.
Y entonces por eso tenemos que ir a nuestra mente a ver esas negaciones, donde nos estamos negando el reino.
Oh my gosh, I'm talking. So speaking that voice is accepting miracles.
Hablar esa voz es aceptar los milagros.
Okay, see, that's why he's got to teach it, because that wouldn't have occurred to me. But speaking that voice in wholeness is because you're accepting love, and miracles is the acceptance of love rather than the denial of love.
Y él me lo tuvo que enseñar porque los milagros son la aceptación del amor en lugar de la negación del amor.
Because he had shown me how following is accepting miracles too. It's being open to be shown everything.
Es abrirnos a que él nos muestre todo.
See, so you're speaking and accepting, you're accepting all that he would give you, all that he would help you unlearn.
Y entonces vas a escucharlo y hablarlo y todo lo que tienes que también desaprender.
So I'm asking him, so Jesus, this is the fast track. See, there's no room for the ego if you're constantly following, you're constantly hearing, constantly speaking.
Entonces le estoy diciendo, y él me dice que así no tenemos espacio para el ego, porque es un constante escucharlo, un constante hablarlo y un constante seguirlo.
So in that expression, you're completely aligned with the Father's will. You're aligned with all that you are.
Entonces así estás alineado con la voluntad del Padre, alineado con todo lo que tú eres.
And then this little voice over here, no, you can't do it. Oh, I got other things to do. I got a life to live. I.
Y entonces luego esta voz, yo tengo que hacer muchas cosas, tengo que vivir una vida, yo.
Yeah. With a couple extra yos in there.
Hay un par de yo extras ahí.
Okay, the I, me bubble, the I, me delusional bubble.
Entonces el yo, la burbuja del yo.
Oh my God, you know, it's exactly what he says in the course. Exactly.
Es exactamente como dice en el curso.
Okay. I will use everything the ego made to turn that whole baby around. See, he's using all your senses, the hearing, the talking, he's using all of that to help you turn the ship from plowing into a storm into a nice, you know, peaceful.
Entonces él está utilizando todos estos tus sentidos para llevarte a pasar la tormenta a un lugar pacífico.
Yeah, it's just you know, little cuddle up with the big kahuna.
Un gran abrazo del kahuna.
Okay, the man with the plan.
El hombre del plan.
You know, I just asked him, I said, we just can't discover this infinite love, you know, because there are going to be exceptions in the subconscious mind, those scraps of the ego down there.
Y no vamos a obtener esta plenitud si aún hay residuos aún en nuestra mente subconsciente.
So this is how he helps you wash out all the scraps. You're speaking his voice, you're hearing him.
Y esta es la forma como él te ayuda a lavar estos residuos, escuchando su voz, hablando su voz.
So those light circles are to help you so you can build the confidence and know you can hear him. It's comforting, isn't it?
Y hay mucha confort, hay mucho consuelo en escuchar esta voz.
And it's natural,
Y es natural.
okay? Except for the parts of our mind we want to, the world we want to protect, and then it's going to hurt.
Y excepto las partes que queremos proteger, y eso va a doler.
And we know from the Course, he said,
Y lo sabemos por el curso. Él dice,
pain is only, it comes into awareness to, it only indicates the need for correction.
y donde el dolor aparece es simplemente donde se requiere corrección.
So clearing out these desires, your mind, well, see the desires, remember, the desires are the fuel for hell.
Entonces vemos que los deseos son la gasolina del infierno.
Okay, and they're hidden in your subconscious mind, and they're billowing out, you know, fire and smoke and taking up all the oxygen.
Y entonces surge todo este humo y todo esto tomando todo el oxígeno.
And then the play of consciousness spends all its time in the smoke going, this is horrible, and I hate this, and God's screwing me, and my mother screwed me, and my father, and my uncle, whoever's walking by.
Y entonces decimos, mira, Dios me está jodiendo, mi mamá, mi papá, todos los que están pasando al frente, mi tío, todos.
But now you've got him coming in going, look, I'm going to show, just as he promises in the Course, exactly, I will show you.
Y entonces él, como lo dice en el curso, yo te mostraré.
Okay, I'm going to take you down there below all that smoke that you're generating, by the way.
Y entonces te va a llevar profundo por debajo de ese humo que tú estás generando, que has generado de por sí.
And he's going to show you the fuel, the desires that are fueling all the smoke and the thoughts and the emotions and the...
Y entonces vas a mostrarte lo que es la gasolina que está generando todo este humo de emociones, sentimientos y pensamientos.
See, because that smoke and that all that smoke and all that, those little embers burning you up there, all that heat. Okay.
Todo este calor, todo esto que está surgiendo.
Okay, that's part of the amnesia, to forget that down there underneath all of it, you're the one putting those logs, those big fat desire logs on the fire and stoking it below your level of awareness.
Pero si vas a ver y miras debajo de tu nivel de conciencia, tú mismo estás poniendo toda esta leña que genera este fuego.
And see, every time you don't follow them, you're putting another log on the fire so you can you can feel the fires of hell up there.
Y entonces cada vez que surge algo de esto, es que estás poniendo más palos en la hoguera para experimentarlo.
Okay, let me show you how you're poking yourself out in the eye yourself. You're running with scissors going bing, bing, bing.
Déjame mostrarte dónde te estás sacando el ojo con un palo, dónde estás con las tijeras en la mano.
He's going, give me the scissors.
Y vas a ir, dame las tijeras.
Okay, that's direct from the Course.
Y eso es directo desde el curso, viene del curso.
So you see, you're learning to use your voice. You could put it this way. It's really the voice of wholeness. That's Christ control. When you're speaking that voice, see what he says, you're accepting Christ control.
Entonces, cuando hablas esta voz es aceptar el control del Cristo.
That's why we're talking about this week, that you're like a little puppet. You're a little puppet, and the ego's up there going like this, but your hand is up there.
Pero entonces tú pareces una marioneta que está movida aquí por el ego, pero tú estás arriba manejándola.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I know. Somebody said the public will not believe you. I know for sure. Look, my mother doesn't believe me.
Y alguien dijo públicamente que no me creía y estoy segura, mi madre tampoco me creería.
Look, let me tell you, when you're that walk in joy with the two little feet going like this and you're joyful, look, it doesn't matter. You're just joyful. And Jesus, is there something I need to do to have a twitch on that? You just go on with it, you know?
Y cuando tú eres el gozo completo, son dos pies moviendo, llevando este gozo, no importa lo que digan, simplemente tú eres gozo.
But let me tell you something.
Pero déjame decirles algo.
Now, I don't care who I'm talking to. If he tells me to say something, I know the will of the Father for happiness. For me, is to say it, no matter what it is. So,
Pero yo digo lo que me dice la voz que deba decir, no importa lo que sea.
and if he tells me to say nothing, which is
Y si me
valuable,
dice que no diga nada, que también es valioso.
see, I don't even type a letter, a note, a hello, put a star in something. Jesus, is that most helpful for healing my mind?
Y entonces no pongo ni una palabra, porque si eso es lo más útil para la sanación de la mente, le pregunto a Jesús.
Because you see, it's in alignment with all that you are, and it transcends the world's ideas seemingly in the world. You know, that's the only way to transcend it.
Porque la forma de trascender el mundo.
And if I didn't say it, I'm in the play of consequences, which I would have created anyway. Worry about consequences. Look.
Entonces, porque se lo digo y no lo voy a, si no lo digo porque estaría creyendo en el mundo de las consecuencias. Y
Yeah.
aunque las consecuencias también son una experiencia deseada.
And sometimes he tells you to say some things that you're really not going to be feeling like you want to say, and you need to say them anyway.
Pero algunas veces él te va a decir cosas que tienes que decir que en verdad tú no quieres decirlas, pero tienes que decirlas porque es para ti.
Because it does not fit with the world's view of what nice is, because nice and kind.
Porque no te vas a alinear con lo del mundo, de lo que es bonito y amable.
Boy, he did a lot of coaching with me on that, because I'd say something and I'd think, oh my gosh, Jesus, that's like, you know.
Y él tuvo que hacer mucho entrenamiento con relación a esto, porque yo decía algo y yo decía, oh Dios santo.
Oh my gosh, there's so much love in this. He taught me how that's really, that clarity and that directness is truly merciful. It's mercy of God. Wow.
Y él me está enseñando cómo decir esto es misericordioso, es la misericordia de Dios.
So you won't be, you know, some kind of little spiritual fairy when he's done with you. You're going to be clearer than you ever have been in your life in terms of like that.
Entonces vas a ser más claro, lo más claro que puede ser en tu vida.
Because you see, you are not subject to the world. This is why Jesus could walk the walk he walked on this earth. And I am not subject to this.
Porque así no estás sujeto a este mundo. Simplemente caminas como Jesús. No estaba sujeto a nada de este mundo.
You know, I am subject to the will of the Father, which is happiness. The will of the Father is not doing something. It's happiness. It's the celebration of happiness.
Porque es hacer la voluntad del Padre, es porque la voluntad del Padre es ser la felicidad, no es hacer nada, es ser la felicidad.
The ego's version of free will is choice.
Porque la versión del ego del libre albedrío es opción.
I am free to choose.
Soy libre de decidir.
Look, as soon as you have choice, you are not free.
E inmediatamente tienes una opción, no eres libre.
You are on the puppet strings of the ego.
Vas a estar en el juego de marionetas del ego.
See, the ego equates joy. It equates pleasure with joy, first of all. That's the first error.
El ego mezcla el placer y el placer y la felicidad, el gozo.
Okay. And so then the trick is, if I choose this or I choose that, I'll be happy.
Entonces si yo elijo esto o elijo lo otro, voy a ser feliz.
I will be happy. See, that is my will to be happy.
Entonces voy a ser feliz. Esa es mi voluntad para ser feliz.
And that is my will to avoid unhappiness.
Pero realmente es mi voluntad para evadir la felicidad.
See, all to obscure from the mind that you are happiness. That's it. Happiness, period. God is finished with his job.
Y porque es para evadir la felicidad, porque la felicidad es dada por Dios y la felicidad se hizo y punto.
And then we
Y
invent
terminó su trabajo.
we invent a little dream to explain to God why happiness is not here.
Entonces hemos inventado este sueño donde le decimos a Dios, la felicidad no está aquí.
This is the voice that explains to God why and how he never made happiness and why hell is the natural state.
Y vamos y decimos que nuestro estado natural es el infierno, no la felicidad.
And then try to convince you that this little voice is the way to find happiness in heaven. See, that's the challenge.
Y este es el reto. Esta voz te dice que ¿qué es la felicidad?
But when you recognize that that voice is the voice that is a nosedive into hell, into dreaming, you won't be, no, you won't, you'll go, no.
Y entonces, pero cuando te das cuenta que esta voz es la que te lleva al infierno, le vas a decir no.
Oh my God, it's a celebration to speak that voice of all that's given by the Father. And you'll see it. It just brings you back to the reminder of all that you are, all that's given by the Father, all the love.
Y entonces esta voz es la voz de la plenitud, es hablar todo el amor del Padre.
You know, you're listening to that voice and it's just like infinite. But when your mind purifies through forgiving and a lot of forgiving. But then
pero cuando tu voz está purificada por mucho perdonar, es hablar desde la plenitud.
That's the only thing we're interested in here, in joining with brothers who want or are determined to have the direct experience that every sentence in that book is true.
Y esto es lo importante de unirnos con compañeros poderosos para ver que cada cosa que él dice en el curso es verdad.
Not to talk about the course, not to compare notes on the course. No.
No para hablar del curso, no para comparar notas del curso.
No comparing versions.
No para comparar versiones.
No, you establish a relationship with him and then he can tell you what every freaking line in there means and he'll lead you into a direct experience inside. It detonates. Oh, that's what that means. You want detonations. That's what the course means. Oh, like that.
Entonces vas a ver que él te puede entrenar y llevar por toda cada palabra del curso y dejar que este curso detone. Esto es una detonación, detonación.
Somebody wrote me a question today about a script is written.
Y alguien me escribió hoy una pregunta acerca del guión está escrito.
Susan, thank you. Because I see it's for me. What am I going to do with that? I'm going right to Jesus. What do you want me to say about it?
Y esto es así para mí. ¿Qué debo decir con relación a esto, Jesús?
You'll get to the point where just I have one thought of the script is written and there's so much love in that. Who would think that? I wasn't putting that on my list of love.
Y ver que en esto hay tanto amor. Yo no lo hubiese puesto en mi lista de que esto generara amor.
So you can talk about the concept and the world's over, the world's over and the script is written, it's already done, and you don't know jack about it.
Puedes hablar de que el mundo ya se acabó, que el guión está escrito, pero no puede que no sepas ni la mínima cosa de lo que estás hablando.
The purpose of that line is for you to talk to guess who about it.
El reto es hablar qué significa eso, Jesús.
Look, I told her, I said, look, you contemplate the holy instant for a while, and then you ask what the script is written is. Means.
Entonces, simplemente contempla el instante santo por un tiempo y pregúntale qué significa el guión está escrito.
Jesus, will you help me so that the script is written detonates on the inside of me?
Jesús, ¿me ayudas a detonar en mí el significado de lo que es el guión está escrito?
Okay, and then he's going to tell you, and then if he tells you to write it down or he tells you to share, but don't share, don't let this voice talk about the script as written.
Pero entonces vas a dejar que él te diga, pero y no dejes que esta voz hable de qué es el guión está escrito.
You know what the script is written? Happiness. That's what the script.
El guión está escrito es felicidad.
God makes happiness, period. That's the script.
Ese es el guión.
Simple.
Dios hizo felicidad y punto.
So, but you got to work with this one. Speak what he says, follow, and you'll do a lot of it. I just, and Jesus, I'm still following you. Where's that happiness? Keep forgiving.
Entonces decimos algunas veces, pero ¿dónde está la felicidad? Y Jesús dice, mantente perdonando.
And then the whole course will go, wow, you're just like.
Y luego todo el curso lo vas a asimilar.
But he keeps it's very interesting, he puts you more in the world than you've ever been before. That's profound.
Y a él te va a poner más en el mundo de lo que antes estabas, algo así.
I just wanted the world to friggin' go away. I just want it to go away, just implode or something, just go away. It's horrible.
Porque llega un punto donde tú dices, el mundo es horrible, como quieres que implosione.
I wanted to hide under a rock somewhere.
Quiero esconderme debajo de una roca.
Look, Jesus is not doing that. He's, and some go, okay, I'm going to go meditate on the mountain. Look, you ask him yourself whether that's going to get you where you want to go.
Entonces, porque tú dices, bueno, me voy a ir a meditar en una montaña, pero le puedes preguntar tú a él, ¿eso te va a dar lo que necesitas?
Jesus, can I fully purify my mind through meditation only?
¿Puedo purificar mi mente solo con meditación?
Oh God. The ego is a device to meditate on thoughts, feelings, and emotions all day long. That's what the ego is, a meditation on thoughts, feelings, and emotions.
Porque el ego es toda una meditación en pensamientos, sentimientos y emociones.
So part of it, the reason why you can meditate on light, he gives you that lesson 44. There it is. You spend time with Jesus contemplating light. It's a good thing when he guides you.
Entonces vemos la lección 44. Es una buena tema de mirar con Jesús cuando él te guíe.
Okay. The great thing, and you'll get revelatory experience.
Y para que lo logres y vas a tener experiencias revelatorias ahí.
But what you'll discover is that about 10 or 15 minutes later, you're gagging on the smoke and the fire and you're burning. What happened? I was so happy. What happened?
Y entonces, pero 15 minutos después vas a estar ahogándote en el calor y vas a decir, pero ¿qué pasó?
Spiritual teachers talking about suicidal.
Los
I saw that
on curso dicen que vi que era la plenitud.
I'm suicidal because you still got an I in there.
Y luego desaparece porque aún hay un yo ahí.
And the I wants to kill you. You have to see.
Y luego hay quiero matarte, tienes que ver esto.
Okay, I'm asking if I can say.
Le estoy preguntando si puedo hablar esto.
It's so true. Jesus, would I rather die a horrible death than see the truth of what God made and see if you get this?
Jesús, prefiero una muerte horrorífica a ver lo que Dios hizo.
That's honesty of God when you see that you'd rather die some kind of horrible death,
rather than see that God
only makes happiness.
que preferimos una muerte horrorífica a ver que Dios lo que hizo fue felicidad.
So it just takes a lot of looking. It does.
Y esto requiere mucho mirar.
Looking and consistency.
Mirar y consistencia.
Okay. Talking to Jesus.
Hablar con Jesús.
Letting him speak through you.
Dejar que él hable a través de ti.
Okay. Because you speak the voice of truth and wholeness.
Porque tú hablas la voz de la plenitud.
And you won't even see it at first. You will not see it.
Y no lo vas a ver en un principio.
But you can see, like, that's why we record them here, or people write their notes down. Like, I didn't even see what I was writing in Jesus, the New Covenant. I mean, you kind of see it, but, you know, there's so much smoke around it.
Porque hay mucho humo alrededor de todo esto.
But then I went back and, you know, and looked, and I can see the clarity. I mean, he gave me everything I needed to be coached by him to get through every single desire for something other than the kingdom of heaven, to coach to miracles.
Y entonces él me entrenó para ir por cada uno de los deseos y me entrenó para ir a los milagros.
And that's available for everyone. That's what we're here for. That's what the light circles are. So you can look at every release, constant. It takes a lot of consistent miracles.
Y para eso es que estamos aquí, porque requiere mucha consistencia en los milagros.
I'm looking at the people.
Estoy mirando a la gente aquí.
Takes a lot of looking. As I've said many times, it became a course in how many places I did not want one shred of a miracle.
Porque hay muchos lugares en la mente donde porque eso es el curso donde no quiero los milagros.
It was my course where you don't want to get anywhere near a miracle.
Eso fue mi curso donde no quiero ni una pizca de milagro.
But it's good to know.
Pero eso es útil saberlo. Bueno saberlo.
Gosh. Too funny. Okay, so it feels really good. I feel like, oh, my beloveds out here that are so, look how you all are devoted to God out there. Thank you.
Mira, gracias a todos por su devoción.
Oh, see, and you just start seeing, you just think of a brother, you know, and it's just like, oh, you just go infinite. That's the whole point. You want to look at every brother and go infinite, not want to see how much you want to kill them.
Entonces, vas a querer ver a cada hermano como el infinito y no quererlo matar.
It's okay. I mean, it's good to see where you want to kill them, but you know what I mean. Just work with Jesus.
Es útil ver cuando queremos matarlos, pero también eso tienes que trabajarlo con Jesús.
Yeah, don't tolerate anything less than supreme happiness.
No toleren nada que no sea la suprema felicidad.
So I'm going to, it feels like, open it up. Anyone have questions?
Se siente útil como abrir para ver si alguien tiene preguntas.
Let's talk Jesus.
Hablemos Jesús.
Does anyone have a question or?
¿Alguien tiene alguna pregunta?
Talking to Jesus lately? Oh, Bhavna. Okay. Okay, I'm going to try to pin us both so that, and I'm going to pin me. And I'm going to pin Bhavna. There you go. So side by side. I don't know if you can see her, but she's next to me. Oh, hi, beloved.
Hola,
Amada. Hi, everyone.
Okay, hola a todos.
I have one comment and then one question. So
tengo un comentario y luego una pregunta. Mi comentario.
Oh, we lost you. All of a sudden you muted. So I'm asked to unmute you again.
I'm sorry. Okay. So my comment is when I hear you speaking about don't say anything unless it comes from Jesus, I think the ego makes me start feeling very intimidated. It's like, oh no, I'm gonna do this all wrong. I'm already doing it all wrong.
Oh my God.
Entonces, cuando dices que debo hablar solo lo que viene de Jesús, me siento intimidada y siento que lo estoy haciendo todo mal.
So what does Jesus say about that?
¿Qué dice Jesús acerca de eso?
I can feel his presence, but I don't know.
Okay. Well, what do you think he's saying?
Puedo sentir su presencia, pero no sé. ¿Qué crees que te está diciendo?
I mean, that's the voice of fear and doubt.
Yeah. That's
Que esa
beautiful.
es la voz de la duda y del miedo.
That's beautiful to see,
Es-
though.
Eso es hermoso ver eso.
You are made for this. That's the first thing he said to me. You're made for this. speak.
Y yo escucho que estás hecha para esto, para hablar.
Just ask him. Ask him if he'll help you. Jesus, will you help me with this?
Jesús, ¿me ayudarías con esto? Pregúntale.
I'm not getting any words. It's more just like a feeling like
No, no estoy obteniendo ninguna palabra, pero es como un sentimiento.
there's perhaps a fear of this whole process, and even a fear of a group that does it right and that I
Es
don't
como
fit
el
in.
miedo como el miedo del grupo, que yo no, como que no empate, que no me alinea con esto.
Well, you're so willing. You're so willing. So stay with the willing and he'll show you the way.
Tú tienes mucha voluntad, hay mucha voluntad, así es que mantente en esa voluntad para que Él te muestre el camino.
It's like, riding a bicycle. At first, we weren't a little bit sure, but then you just take off.
Y esto es como montar una bicicleta. En un principio nos sentimos inseguros, pero luego volamos.
I want to ask a question.
Okay.
Ahora quiero hacer la pregunta.
I think because I have this sense of unworthiness, I guess it's like that I'm not good enough compared to some other people that can hear Jesus.
Entonces, como tengo este deseo como de que no soy digna, de que no puedo escuchar a Jesús como otras personas.
Then oftentimes a brother or sister comes to me and they say, this is the guidance. And a lot of times I'm like, okay, you must be hearing him better than I am. So I'm just going to listen to you.
Entonces, cuando ahí viene un hermano y me dice, mira, esto es lo que escucho la guía, entonces digo, sí, yo creo que lo estás escuchando mejor que yo.
But I don't know if that's people pleasing because I don't know what's going on. So I'm just trusting
Pero
person.
no sé si esto es complacer a las personas o es confianza.
And then so either I listen to the person and I trust, or sometimes I say, I I'm not hearing that guidance, so
Y
don't think so.
algunas veces le digo a esta persona, sí, ok, o algunas veces digo, no, yo no estoy escuchando la misma guía, no pienso que sea así.
I just want to ask about this guidance or instruction, something coming through my brothers and sisters.
Entonces, quiero preguntar acerca de esta guía que viene a través de mis hermanos o hermanas.
Well, guidance will come through your brothers and sisters. There's no doubt about that, but you got to be joining with the ones he tells you to join with.
No hay duda que la guía puede llegar a través de tus hermanos, hermanas, pero debes unirte con las personas que él te diga que te debas unir.
Because the ego knows who to join with to keep its sense of limitation, who's going to agree with its position.
Porque el ego va a querer que te unas con las personas que están de acuerdo con tu posición.
But what I would say to you is, because there's a high level of willingness and you can hear him.
Lo que te puedo decir es que tú tienes un alto nivel de confianza, de voluntad y que tú lo puedes escuchar.
Just let it be one step at a time right now, one light circle at a time to see if you can hear his yes or no. That's why he starts with a lot of yeses or no. You know, I call it the bobblehead. Is he going like this? Or, you know?
Entonces mantente en los círculos de luz yendo con el sí y el no, porque se requieren muchos sí y no, y ir con la cabeza según él la mueve.
So consciousness is made, where we know, to be one big doubt thought about whether we can hear the voice, whether we can speak the voice, whether I am the voice.
El ego es una gran máquina de duda de si puedo escuchar la voz, si puedo hablar la voz o si yo soy la voz.
But just trust in your willingness and stay joined with the brothers that he gives you. And you will find that you will start to get clearer and clearer through the consistency of just asking.
Entonces mantente con tus compañeros y con para que se vaya aclarando esta de preguntar y seguir.
And what I hear would be helpful for you so you can get more confident. This is what helped me too, actually.
Y lo que yo estoy escuchando es que incluso esto me sirvió a mí.
You know, I just started typing one day.
Así que yo comencé un momento a escribir.
I wasn't thinking in my mind, oh, I'm going to have a conversation with Jesus. You know, I wasn't thinking about that at all. I was just typing, and these thoughts were coming, and I was typing them on paper, and I was sharing them with course students, and they said, okay, where's the next chapter? I'm going on, you know, I guess there must be one.
Entonces yo comencé simplemente a escribir sin pensar que estaba hablando con él, y comencé a escribir y luego lo compartí con algunos compañeros y me dijeron, y bueno, ¿dónde viene el siguiente capítulo?
But what I'm hearing that could be helpful is you just, what happened is I just started typing a question and then typing his answer.
Entonces yo comencé a escribir sus preguntas y a escribir sus respuestas.
So just practice with that a little bit, writing out something, writing a question, like what question would you like to ask Jesus?
Y entonces puedes escribir como una pregunta, por ejemplo, ¿qué pregunta te gustaría hacerle a Jesús?
Is there something you'd like to know from him?
¿Es algo que quieres saber de él?
If I'm being guided to join with someone or not.
Si estoy en guía, unirme con alguien o no.
So just write that question down and then and just start writing down what you're hearing. Just write it down. Don't have any pressure. Doesn't have to be right. And just go, okay, this is Jesus. Will you help me be clear on who I'm to join with, and how can I be more clear? You
Entonces,
just bring the
simplemente haz la pregunta y escribe la respuesta y dile con quién quieres que me una. Simplemente trae tu voluntad.
And just hear what just write down what you think you're hearing. It was like I say, I wrote the notes while I was writing the book. I didn't even realize how well I was hearing him. And the voice was really like it's just because there's so much smoke, it's trying to see something through a fog. There's a lot of noise. But if you practice and you're determined, which I hear you are very determined.
Entonces, eso pasó conmigo. Yo comencé a escribir simplemente porque hay mucho neblina, hay mucha neblina, pero comencé a escribir.
Okay, so this is what I'm hearing. You're very determined, but you still have some, not you, this is for everyone, okay? This is common. It's a play in consciousness.
Y entonces lo que escucho de ti es que hay mucha voluntad, pero esto es para todos. Esto es muy común.
That there's going to be some kind of loss if you start hearing that voice fully.
Hay la creencia que hay pérdidas si comienzas a escuchar esta voz.
And so then you just have a talk with them. You'll start finding you can have fireside chats with Jesus and just let it be natural. Pull up a chair, pour him a cup of tea.
Simplemente deja que sea natural. Tómate una taza de café, de té.
And keep joining. You will hear him. The joining really helps the mind tune into him. I don't know exactly how it works, but everybody here would tell you how much better they could hear Jesus when they get together with a brother.
Y ver que es tan útil estas uniones para escucharlo, porque comienzas a escucharlo mejor cuando te unes con un hermano.
And just keep joining and keep looking at those desires. And that's exactly what that's for, is to develop that dialogue with Jesus.
Entonces mantente uniéndote, porque para eso es que han sido desarrollados, para mantener este diálogo con Jesús.
And then he'll even tell you what here in the first part of the 90 day, almost the first questionnaire is, Jesus, what don't I want to ask you?
Y aquí en el programa de 90 días tenemos unas preguntas que es, ¿qué es lo que no te quiero preguntar, Jesús?
Because the idea of sacrifice is so important to the ego, keeping the ego thought system. See, we have to make God the bad guy. The only way to play in hell is to make God the bad guy. The happiness.
Hay la creencia en el sacrificio, y por eso el ego quiere hacer que a Dios el chico malo.
But he's just saying you are very determined, and you just stay with the determination. This is natural to me, and I'm going to hear it.
Tú tienes mucha voluntad, y con esa voluntad estate dispuesta a escucharlo, y lo vas a escuchar.
I'm determined to see and I'm determined to hear, and I'm going to get my miracles. Just be determined.
Estoy determinada a escucharte, estoy determinada a obtener el milagro, estoy determinada a ver.
And as long as you're open and determined, you can't help but hear the voice because it's yours. You can't get away from it. We have to work really hard not to hear the voice.
Porque realmente tenemos que trabajar muy fuerte para no escuchar la voz, porque esa voz es nuestra voz natural.
It's just it's just the play, we fear what it's going to mean to follow that voice and hear that voice, and then the ego goes, well, you're going to make me do something I don't want to do.
Pero es este miedo de no escuchar la voz, porque creemos que esta voz nos va a hacer algo que no queremos.
But you have to learn that's a code word. It's a set of code words that the ego uses for saying, I don't want to see what you're going to show me, Jesus.
Y realmente es una palabra que está, lo que quiere decir es, no quiero que me muestres lo que me vas a mostrar, Jesús.
So you can even ask them, where do I think there's a sacrifice in this, just write down, see what you hear.
Puedes preguntarle y escribir, ¿dónde creo que hay sacrificio en esto?
I already know, even at a conscious level, it's a special relationship.
Sé que en algún nivel de la conciencia está el tema de las relaciones espirituales.
Good for you.
Especiales.
Good for you. See, yeah.
Solo para ti.
First of all,
I'm like, don't touch that.
Yes. Thank you for the honesty of God, though everyone.
Gracias.
Everyone
por la honestidad de Dios.
You're in for it. She's helping us through. See, when you ask this question, you lay a gift at your brothers because you can be almost positive that somewhere in that the ego is, everyone has some kind of special relationship that the bony dead fingers are hanging on to.
Entonces, gracias Magna por traernos esto, porque esto es para todos, porque muchos de nosotros estamos agarrados de estas relaciones especiales.
So the doubt thoughts are coming around that then.
Entonces, tus pensamientos de duda vienen alrededor de este tema, ¿cierto?
But you know what the good news is?
¿Sabes la buena noticia?
You're only going to find happiness under all this.
Lo único que vas a obtener es felicidad debajo de todo esto.
That's all you can ever find is happiness when we really look. So look.
Y cuando vemos, en verdad encontramos verdadera felicidad.
So you can just say, okay, Jesus, look, I really don't want to look, but I'm going to look anyway, just to see what happens. You can always tell them, no.
Puedes decir, no quiero ver, pero sin embargo voy a ver.
We've been telling them no our whole lives, won't change anything, but we might at least know where we're delusional.
Porque le hemos dicho toda la vida no, pero al menos ahora nos podemos dar cuenta dónde nos estamos engañando.
And he'll lead you step by step, Bhavna, he will.
Pero déjalo liderar a él paso a paso.
But actually, there's some part of you that knows there's something about this that does not work.
Porque tú sabes que hay una parte de ti que sabe que esto no está funcionando.
I even said a prayer recently that because this is not working.
Yo digo una oración porque esto no está funcionando.
And I'm seeing the same patterns over and over again.
Y veo el mismo patrón una y otra vez.
That I would rather feel love and feel loved rather than be special.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Ser amor en lugar de ser especial.
But I'm still terrified of Jesus taking away that special love.
Y aún estoy aterrorizada de que Jesús me quite este amor especial.
Well, the good news about Jesus, he doesn't take anything away. He just shows you where you're delusional.
Y la buena cosa de Jesús es que no te va a quitar nada, te va a mostrar dónde estás engañada.
Not you personally, he just shows all of us where there are concepts in our mind about what we think love is and how we experience love. He just shows that love is not a heat-seeking missile that goes between two people. It doesn't go this way.
Porque es lo que te va a mostrar que el amor no va así de entre dos personas, que el amor es todo.
See, that will keep us always feeling limited and like something's going to be lost, or, some of this one dies, or, however the ego plays. It's a play to keep suffering and fear and keep love feeling limited.
Porque este es el juego del ego, tratar de ver el amor limitado.
But if you listen to him, let him explain these things to you. See, this is going to block guidance. We block guidance with these things.
Y así es como bloqueamos la guía.
But it's just to keep guilt alive in the mind. All that does is keep guilt. It just puts more fire on the fire of guilt. Ask Jesus.
Porque esto es ponerle más fuego al fuego de la culpa. Pregúntale a Jesús.
Jesus, is it possible I have confused love and guilt?
¿Es posible que haya confundido el amor y la culpa, Jesús?
Yes, I've been getting that message all day.
He estado obteniendo ese mismo mensaje todo el día.
I guess I needed to hear it too, because
Parece que yo también necesitaba escucharlo.
You will find.
I know what you said, Kay, is absolutely right, that I am blocking out. I'm deaf to guidance because I'm like, I don't want to hear it.
Y sí, yo siento que he estado sorda a esa guía, no la quiero escuchar.
In the case of special love.
En el tema del amor especial.
And the interesting thing is when we really look deeply with Jesus at this, and humbling, happily humbling, is that we really...
Lo hermoso de esto es que hay una humildad cuando Jesús nos muestra
that whatever this is, it's not where our true heart is at all.
Que nada de esto en verdad es tenemos nuestro corazón ahí, en nada de esto.
But you have your brothers to hold your hand and just look. That's it. Just look one step at a time. What do I look at? What's most helpful to heal the mind right now?
Vas paso a paso con tus hermanos. ¿Y qué es lo más útil para ver ahora?
And we know the answers already. As you said, you already have an idea of what it is. So we have to just clear the objections. We've confused heaven and hell. And so we have to let him gently come in and show us where we have hell and heaven confused.
Porque necesitamos ver que él nos muestre dónde tenemos confundido el cielo y el infierno.
I felt I didn't plan on sharing any of this, but it just came out.
No tenía planeado compartir esto, pero simplemente surgió.
It came out because I feel like Jesus is here and listening, and I need to speak it up.
Porque parece que Jesús está hablando y lo estoy escuchando y necesitaba compartirlo.
I assure you, this is very holy, so thank you. It's very
Estoy segura que esto es muy santo.
Thank you, Vamna. We love you.
Gracias, Vagna. Te amamos.
That's so beautiful. It's so honest.
Es muy hermoso, es muy honesto.
Thank you, Bhavna.
Bruce, are you speaking?
Gracias, Vagna.
Did you have your hand up, Bruce?
¿Tú tenías la mano levantada, Bruce?
Well, I did. I was just going to comment on something that she said, but you covered it well. That's why I took my hand down.
Okay. Well, we love you.
Sí, quería compartir algo acerca de lo que ella dijo, pero tú lo cubriste muy bien. Te amamos, Bruce.
But I will. Okay, I'll say here a question. Maybe you can clarify for me.
Voy a hacerle una pregunta,
others.
entonces, para mí y quizá para otros.
So that statement, the script is written, that was always real puzzling and aggravating for me to try to understand.
Para mí fue este concepto del guión está escrito, fue un concepto como que lo quería pasar de lado.
So I wrote in the chat to Kay, for a long time, I thought I would lose immensely if I accepted the course or accepted the entire course, because I know you're supposed to believe it or accept it all or not at all or none of it.
Y entonces siempre me pregunté si había aceptado totalmente el curso o no lo había aceptado.
So it was kind of like, you can accept this now or you can accept it later.
Pero es como, ¿lo puedes aceptar ahora o lo puedes aceptar más adelante?
And I would have to yield to something strange, something unimaginable, or some force.
The alien.
Pero entonces he tenido que lidiar con esto como los ajenos, algo ajeno.
So I
Bruce,
would be interested.
You'll be interested in what?
Hearing you maybe lend more clarity to why that statement's in the book. The script is written.
Y entonces, ahora escuchándote, veo esta frase del curso donde el guión está escrito,
because your eyes are going to glow when it's grokked. It's just
porque
sheer
tus ojos se van a exaltar cuando tú lo asimiles completamente.
Okay, so so the ego depends on making God an alien.
El ego depende de que tú hagas a Dios un alien.
I mean, it completely depends that God is leading us, marching into hell, us all into hell. It has to flip heaven and hell.
El ego tiene que voltear el cielo y el infierno y hacer creer que Dios es el infierno.
As I said to Susan earlier today, it's the course when it lives within, it's just a celebration of all that is. It's that every line is true, basically, through the purification of the mind, okay?
Entonces, a través de la purificación de la mente nos muestra cómo cada línea del curso es cierta.
So the script is written the ego really enjoys that, having its interpretation of that.
El ego disfruta tener una interpretación de esto, de que el guión está escrito.
So what really helped me is when I saw that the script means that God wrote the script in your love and you don't have a choice to write another script.
Y para mí fue muy útil ver que cuando
Okay.
Dios dijo, cuando escribió el guión es, tú eres mi hijo y eres su suprema felicidad y punto, eso es.
That means you do not get to decide
Así
what
que,
you are.
así que no hay decisión en esto, tú no puedes decidir.
So when you contemplate the script is written, when you're contemplating inner light or the holy instant, reference that in the holy instant.
El instante, cuando contemplas esto en el instante santo.
And then you can look in that holy instant, you see whether there's any script going on in there whatsoever. No script.
Y miras entonces en el instante santo que no hay ningún guión.
You know, it's just a way of saying it's done. You know,
es una forma de decir esto ya está hecho.
God decided and you don't get to decide. So
Dios decidió y tú no tienes que decidir.
But Jesus did tell me, he said, the script that you're experiencing, every experience you have.
Pero Jesús me dice que cada experiencia que tú tienes.
The ego writes a script like a storyline. Here's my storyline.
El ego va a escribir el guión como una línea de la historia. Esta es la historia.
I chose that. I climbed a mountain. I did this.
Mira, yo subí la montaña, yo elegí esto, yo hice esto.
Okay. And it likes to write a little script about how things are going and what's good and what's bad.
Y te va a decir, mira lo bueno y lo malo, esto es malo.
Because it likes the idea of thinking it can be in control and that there's choice.
Entonces está la creencia que puedes pensar y que puedes controlar y que puedes decidir.
So as soon as there's choice, there's two and then automatic hell.
Y cuando hay elección, hay dos y inmediatamente estás en el infierno.
So the script is written, there's one.
Pero el guión está escrito es uno.
You don't get to say there's two.
No puede decir que hay dos.
You don't get to write. You can type out a script if you want one, but it doesn't change a darn thing.
Y tú puedes escribir un guión si quieres, pero no va a cambiar absolutamente nada.
You can ride the ride of consciousness and go to the multi-universe and, you know,
puedes montarte en la conciencia y ir a los multiuniversos.
Take a trip to the moon.
Hacer un viaje a la luna.
But it does not change what God made perfect.
Pero eso no cambia lo que Dios hizo perfecto.
And there's nothing you're going to do to change that.
Y no puedes hacer nada para cambiar eso.
You know, so it's just, okay, give up the dream, folks.
Y entonces simplemente es renuncia al sueño.
The script is written means what you are doing does not work.
El guión está escrito es lo que estás haciendo no funciona.
So you trying to write a script of a little life, of a little me, no, it doesn't.
Estás
Not you
tratando de
personally, Bruce,
escribir,
but you know what I mean.
tú estás tratando de escribir un guión, no tú, Bruce. Lo que quiero decir es, estamos tratando de escribir un guión.
What does that mean? You know, it's more that, you know, you can get ground down into, well, you know, here's the script and the story is written and everything that I do now, and it doesn't matter what I do. That will lead you into hell. If you lock into that the wrong way, like, oh, it doesn't matter what I do because the script's written. See, the ego is going to use that. And that.
Entonces eso te va a llevar directo al infierno si dices, no importa lo que haga porque el guión está escrito.
Okay. When you get that the script is written, you will only follow Jesus. See, you still have to follow Jesus. You still have to listen. You still have to speak that voice. Some will say, oh, it doesn't really matter because it's already happened, blah, blah.
Pero entonces cuando ves que el guión está escrito, vas a seguir esa voz, sí, porque hay una parte donde dice, no importa lo que haga, ya el guión está escrito.
If you're doing that, you have not grokked what the script is written means.
Porque si tú haces esto, no te estás dando cuenta de lo que significa que el guión está escrito.
When, not you, you know, I'm talking in general.
No tú, estoy hablando en general.
Me, it's all for me. But when you,
Porque todo es para mí.
That the script is written, like the God's will is the will for perfect happiness. That's the script. You're not going to do anything except follow, listen, follow, and speak the voice.
Porque cuando te das cuenta que el guión está escrito, simplemente no vas a querer hacer nada más que escuchar, seguir, hablar y seguir esa voz.
You know, the question crosses my mind a number of times. Okay,
la pregunta
Jesus,
que cruza por mi mente muchas veces.
Jesus is supposedly the source of Christianity as religion. And
Jesús es la fuente de la
all
de la
of this
religión.
church hierarchy and all these churches and all the people involved, the ministers and preachers.
Entonces, todos estos ministros y criaturas que están involucradas.
They're teaching the truth. Wait a minute, how did this get messed up?
Entonces, ¿dónde nos perdimos?
Because in the play of consciousness is a decision to have all these different things to obscure the fact that the buck stops here.
Porque todo esto que surge en la conciencia es para que no veamos que no nos demos cuenta que el bus para aquí.
To actually look inside and go, okay, I chose this, and therefore this need not be, because I need not choose this for myself.
Entonces, darte cuenta que he elegido esto para mí, de que esto no tiene que ser así, y porque es elegido y elegir de nuevo.
So, you know, then it just becomes so simple, because then it's just, what do I need right now to heal my mind? That becomes just the miracle mindedness becomes like, that is my only interest.
Y entonces viene esto de que mi mentalidad milagrosa es como mi objetivo.
You know, jujitsu miracles, show me, and I have to follow him so he can show me.
el jiu-jitsu de los milagros, simplemente muéstrame.
See, then you're living, the script is written. You just...
porque así vives en el guión está escrito.
You know, your mind, you've removed all the desires to pretend like there can be a script other than God's script.
Y así remueves todo de tu mente la creencia de que hay un guión escrito diferente al de Dios.
We're going to heaven together, Bruce.
Vamos al cielo juntos, Bruce.
I want to see. Somebody else must have a question. I appreciate your answer. Thanks, Kate.
Okay, love you, Bruce.
Gracias por tus respuestas. Seguramente alguien más tiene otras preguntas. Te amo, Bruce.
I don't have more to say at this point.
No tengo nada más que decir en este punto.
Okay, algo más, anyone else?
Oh, sure.
¿Alguien más o quieren?
You? Okay, good. David's going for it over here. So let me get our magic camera, which is really
Bueno,
fun to push this button. Woohoo!
Bueno, vamos a tener a David.
There he is.
Hi, everybody.
Hola a todos.
So I just wanted to share based on what Bhavna shared.
Solo quiero compartir con base en lo que Vagna compartió,
Because it really hit home with me.
que realmente me impactó a mí.
My whole life, it seemed, the illusion is that I wasn't smart enough, I wasn't good enough, and I couldn't get it right.
Siempre estaba en el tema de no soy suficientemente bueno, no he hecho las cosas suficientemente bien.
So when I was guided by Jesus to joining a light and coming to one of these Thursday night sessions,
Entonces, cuando fui guiado a venir a estas charlas un jueves como este,
I was talking with Kay and said, I really can't hear Jesus's voice.
y yo estaba hablando con Kay y yo dije, no, yo no puedo escuchar su voz, de la voz de Jesús.
And she said, well, let's ask everybody.
Y Kay dijo, preguntémosles aquí a todos.
And I was convicted. They said, yeah. Everybody said, yeah, you can hear the voice.
Y fue convencido que realmente todos decían que yo podía escuchar su voz.
And that night and the next day, I was having some conversation with Jesus, and I actually did hear him.
Y al siguiente día tuve unas conversaciones con él y en verdad lo escuché.
And before I came to the devotional center, I took the 45 days with Jesus email program at home.
Y antes de venir aquí tomé el programa de 45 días en casa, lo tomé.
And that was really helpful for getting into the mode of asking Jesus questions and writing down his answers.
Y entonces eso me sirvió para entrar en la forma o el modo de preguntarle a Jesús y escribir sus respuestas.
It was like a couple of steps on the stairway to heaven.
Fueron como un par de pasos hacia el cielo.
And then I came to the devotional center for the 90 Days with Jesus program.
Y luego vine al centro devocional para el programa de 90 días con Jesús.
And it has been a roller coaster ride.
Y ha sido una montaña rusa.
I'm hearing his voice more, but it's not always consistent.
Entonces estoy escuchando más su voz, pero no es consistente.
There's no doubt that when we're joining, I'm able to hear better.
Y es inevitable que cuando nos unimos escucho mejor.
But when I'm by myself, it seems like I'm not always hearing the answers.
Pero cuando estoy por mi propia cuenta, siento que no escucho sus respuestas.
And last week, I came to the admission, the understanding that I had to stop denying that I was in denial.
Y entonces la semana pasada vi que debía parar de negar que estaba en la negación.
And admitted that I really don't want to be here.
Y admitir que en verdad no quiero estar aquí,
I don't want to hear Jesus's voice.
que no quiero escuchar su voz,
I don't want
la
to
voz de
follow.
Jesús, que no lo quiero seguir.
And I don't want anything to do with God.
Y no quiero ver nada que ver con Dios, tener nada que ver con Dios.
And it just freed something up inside of me to allow me to say, but I'm going to do it anyhow.
Pero eso me llevó a un punto donde en mí, donde lo voy a hacer de todas maneras.
And as we're going through the 90 Days with Jesus program, go ahead, Maria.
Pero por eso ir a través del programa de 90 días con Jesús.
And asking the questions, writing down the answers
Ok, entonces hacer las preguntas y escribir las respuestas.
Jesus's answers are amazing.
Las respuestas de Jesús son asombrosas.
And so through all of this, just everything that we're doing here is just like chipping away at the sculptor.
Y lo que veo es que lo que estamos haciendo aquí es como limpiando esta escultura.
I can see that the ego is still in full-time hacksaw ridge mode.
Y veo que el ego está como en modo de la película Hudson Riggs mode.
And all the reasons are coming up why I shouldn't be doing this, like special relationships.
Especialmente el tema de las relaciones especiales, cómo el ego no me llevan a esto.
But I know in my heart that this is where I'm supposed to be.
Pero yo sé en mi corazón que esto no tiene que ser así.
And then finding that desires are being dismantled naturally.
Y estos deseos se han venido desmantelando naturalmente.
So I don't have a death grip that I'm unwilling to let go of.
Como que no hay una parte que no quiera dejar ir en estos momentos.
I'm just naturally loosening my grip and kind of letting things go.
Simplemente estoy dejando que se vayan naturalmente.
And I'm okay with it. I feel good about it.
Y me siento bien acerca de eso.
And everything is just, it's just really, really sinking in and making more sense.
Making what?
Making more sense to me.
Y todo esto comienza a tener más sentido para mí.
So I'm grateful for everything, and I'm grateful for the guidance of Jesus and everything that he's showing me here.
Entonces estoy agradecida con Jesús y agradecido por esto.
Yeah, he's just saying now, just don't ever give up. He showed me yesterday, he says, the only reason you think you have upsets is because you're not focused on me.
Y la única razón por la que estás molesto es porque no estás enfocado en mí, escucho de él.
And it's just so easy to get caught up in the grievances and the worries and concerns and think that that's where I'm going to find my solution.
Porque es muy fácil entrar en los agravios y en las preocupaciones y creer que ahí está la solución.
He said, solutions will never be found in thought forms.
Él me dice que las soluciones nunca se van a encontrar en la forma.
He says, just join with me in the light where you already are and let me take care of it.
Y él dice, únete a mí en la luz que eres y yo me encargaré de todo.
So yeah, I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
That's
Much love to
beautiful.
all.
Solo quería compartir esto. Gracias. Amor para todos.
That's just beautiful. Thank you.
Es hermoso. Gracias.
That's for all of us.
Eso es para todos nosotros.
Well, it feels complete for this evening. So much love from all of you. And if you have other questions, please feel free to send them.
Se siente completo por ahora y si tienen más preguntas, siéntase libre de enviarlas.
They're always a great opportunity just to talk to Jesus about it.
Es una gran oportunidad siempre de hablar con Jesús.
You know, at first it's hard to admit that he knows better than we do.
En un principio es difícil ver que él sabe mejor lo que es mejor para nosotros.
But God,
Que sabe más que nosotros.
after a while, I started thanking God that he does know better than me.
Porque él pensaba, say it again, okay?
So after a while, it's like I was thanking God that he does know better than me. And I knew I was dependent on him. You know, I was going to hang on to every single anything, however he would help me. I was going to hang on to his feet.
Y no importaba que él me mostrara, yo me iba a poner, me iba a atrapar, a tomar de sus pies.
Because I could see that I couldn't fight my way out of a paper bag without him, you know.
Porque yo podía ver que no podía salirme de esta bolsa de papel sin su ayuda.
So much love to everyone. Oh, one
Mucho
more
amor
thing.
para todos. Una cosa más.
So our phone app now, we're starting to put these podcasts on there.
Nuestra app, say again, Kay?
Well, we're starting to put podcasts, you know, I don't know if you've seen the little phone app here. I don't know if I can do it so you can see it, but.
No sé si ustedes pueden ver que tenemos nuestra app.
You know, but we have on here now we're starting to put these talks from the Thursday night talks, and we'll probably put some other things on there that you can listen to right on your phone. You can download them right to your phone and listen.
Entonces, estas charlas las van a poder ustedes tener ahí.
You click on that.
Well,
and
I would
you
think I
download.
could listen to them on my computer too, right? Okay.
También puedo
Yes.
verlo en mi computador.
If you have YouTube, you can listen. We have a playlist called Hot Topics and Spiritual Awakening, and you can go through those. We have all the course lessons with commentary. We have the psychotherapy pamphlet on our YouTube channel.
Si tienes YouTube, sí, puedes ir a través de estas listas que tenemos ahí de diferentes temas.
But what we have, and they're actually on here. You can actually get YouTube videos on here for a lot of our playlists, at least the top 50 of them.
Y aquí pueden tenemos muchos, pueden tener los 50 más importantes.
This just allows you, you know, to download it to your phone and, you know, go about doing things with your headset in and listen.
Esto lo que les permite es que ustedes vayan, se pongan los audífonos y estén haciendo cosas y estén escuchando.
So buenas noches, everyone.
Buenas noches.
Bye. Thank you. Good night. Thank you
Buenas
for
noches.
translating.
You're welcome.
Good night.
Love you. Oh,
Bless you.
Los amamos. Gracias.
Gracias. Feliz año. Chao.
Bye.
Bye.
Adios.